right? So if you observe here, if I type REV, so we get some suggestions here, and we can simply press enter to autocomplete it. Okay, so we just do it reverse, and then we print days of week. So first what we're doing is we are creating a list, we are printing it as it is, then we are reversing it, and then we are printing it. So what will be the output? Let's see. If you've already understood the output by the name of it, reversal means reversing the elements of the list. The first element becomes the last element, second element becomes the second last element, third element becomes the third last element, and so on and so forth. And the last element becomes the first element. The elements or the items of the list gets reversed, and it's a permanent change in the list. Right? Simple. Okay. Now let's take another example. Let's take a list of numbers. Let's say nums equal to 490128. All right. This is my nums list. Okay. And let me run this. We get 49012 and 8 as it is. The next function that you're going to see is the sort function. Now, the sort function, what does it do? As the name suggests, it sorts the list into some order. By default, it sorts the list into ascending order. For example, nums of sort, if I do, and then print nums, it will print the nums in the ascending order. Pause the video and write down the output on your own. What will be the output? It will be 0, 1, 2, 4, 8 and 9, isn't it? Let's run and see. So when I run this, I get line number 8 prints the values of the elements of nums, which is 490128, and line number 11 is printing this. We can simply write like this as well: sorted list, and use comma here if you want to. You can use that string as well using comma here. Sorted list is this. So what does it mean? It basically is the ascending order sort. What is ascending order? Ascending order is from a less number to a more increasing order number, right? So ascending order is in increasing order. Now, if you want to do the sorting in descending order or decreasing order, what should we do? We should basically do something like this. If you write the sort function, if you see, reverse is the argument, and you can write true here. Nums dot sort reverse equal to true will sort the list into reverse order or descending order. What I'm telling, make it reverse. Reverse equal to true means make it reverse. Okay. So reverse, if I do equal to true and I run this program, my sorted list will be in the descending order or in the reverse order or in the decreasing order. All right. The next function that you're going to see is count. Okay. Count function is basically, as the name suggests, and we have seen it in strings, counts a particular element in the list, how many times it has occurred. Right. Let's again, we take numbers equal to 0, 1, 3, 4, 1, 0, 5, 0, 0, 3, and 0. So these are the elements of the list numbers, right? And we have to count how many times the integer 0 or the value 0 occurred in the list numbers, right? You can count it. How many are there? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. right? They can do this using the count function as well. So we can simply do print, let's say, numbers dot count of 0. What we're trying to do here is numbers the list dot count function and count the how many times 0 is occurring in the numbers list. So when we run this, we get 5. So when we manually counted it, there were 5 zeros in the list, and count function also gives us 5 in the output. All right. You can dynamically make it like this. Let's say, for example, item to count. Let's say there is a variable item to count equal to, let's take an input from the user, enter the number to be counted. So, and we print lists here, print the list is numbers from the above list, right? So what we're doing is we created a list 0, 1, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. And we printed the list is these. So the numbers list will be printed. And what I'm telling is I'm taking an input from the user and asking the user to enter the number to be counted from the above list, which will be displayed. And we are storing it in the variable called item to count. Let's, instead of 0, put item to count here, right? And let's print it properly. Let's use a string here. Okay. One more thing we can do is, instead of making it a little clumsy, we can say C equal to, here, we can first count it and store it in a variable. We can count the item to count in numbers list, how many times it is occurring, and store it in a variable called C, and print C here, saying that occurrence of item to count is C, right? And we have to close this string here like this, and occurrence, it's a typo. Yeah, the spelling was wrong. It was E. I have written A. Right? So what I've done here, I have a list. I'm printing it, then taking a user input, asking which number to be counted. I'm counting it using the count function, and then printing occurrence of that item to count is the count. Right? So let's run this and see how it works. So the list is printed with the list elements 0, 1, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. And then it is asking a user input, saying that enter the number to be counted from the above list. Let's enter 1, right? 1 is present. Yeah, doesn't matter if it's present or not, doesn't matter. We'll see that example as well. This time it is present, right? So if I run this, I get occurrence of 1 is 2. So how many times 1 is occurring in the list? 2 times, right? Let's run this again. Again, the same list is there. We're not changing that. But this time, let's enter something which is, let's say, 7. Do we have 7 here in the list as element? No. It's a small list, so we can manually check it. But what if it's a big list and manually checking is not possible? This program can be really useful in that case, right? So what will be the count in this case? Will Python give an error? What do you think? Let's see. Let's press enter and see. It says occurrence of 7 is 0. Now it does not give an error. Why? Because count function, what does it do? It counts the number of times a particular element is present in a list, right? 7 is present how many times in the list? 0 times. So that's what we are getting the answer as. Obviously, we'll not get an error, but we'll get that it is present 0 times. Right? So not necessarily that only integers can work here. We can say, let's say, Python, Java, C++, and again Python, let's say. And instead of numbers, we'll say language. And we change language here, language is here. Item to count, instead of writing enter a number, enter the item to be counted from the above list, and will not convert or typecast into integer, right? Why we were doing typecast into integer? Because we were expecting an integer to be compared or tested. This time we don't need an integer. By default, input function will give us a string, and we have the elements as string only in the language list, right? So let's run this. The list is Python, Java, C++, and Python. Enter the item to be counted from the above list. I'll write Python here, and it says occurrence of Python is 2, right? So it counts how many times the language Python comes in the list. So count function is very useful to count how many times a particular item is occurring in the list. That's what count function is. The next thing that we're going to look at as membership operators or membership operation in list. So if you remember from strings, what is the membership operator? The membership operator is in. What does it do? In checks if a particular element or item is present in the list or not. We can use count function also to check it. How? If the count is 0, it means the element is not present. But there is another way to check it is using the in function, right? So how does that in function work? In will give you a true if the item is present, right? So if I do print Python in language, what will I get? What is this doing? It is checking if Python is there in the language list or not. If it is there, it will give a true to us. If it is not, it will give a false to us, right? So if I run this, I get a true because Python is there in the list language. Similarly, if I check, let's say, JavaScript. Is JavaScript present in the language list? No, it is not, right? So in this case, we'll get a false. Let's run this. You're getting a true for Python in language and false for JavaScript in language, right? So this way, you can check the membership of any operator, any element in the list using the in operator. Similarly, we have not in, right? Not in is the reverse of in, right? Not space in, not space in. Not in gives us true when the element is not present in the list, and not in will give you false when the element is present in the list. So it will exactly give the reverse output. It will give the exact reverse output of in. So since initially we are getting a true and a false, so true for Python in language and false for JavaScript in language, but not in will give you false for Python not in language and true for JavaScript not in language. Let's run this. You're getting a false for Python not in language and true for JavaScript not in language, right? JavaScript not in language means, is JavaScript element not present in the list language? Yes. Yes means true. Is Python not in the list language? No, Python is there, which means false, right? So in this lecture, we learned few of the functions like reverse, sort, and count, and also the membership operator, not in and in Python. That's all for this lecture. Thank you.